Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to gently pull back the curtain on the subtle, sometimes invisible mechanics of emotional manipulation. If you've ever felt like your own memory is suddenly your enemy, well, you're absolutely in the right place. We're looking at a roadmap to help you reclaim your reality. So let me ask you something. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling just completely confused, even though you knew exactly what happened? You knew what was said, you knew how it made you feel, but somehow, by the end of it, you were the one apologizing? You were the one wondering if maybe you really are just too sensitive? That confusion, that sudden, heavy self-doubt, it's not an accident. It is a targeted attack on your self-trust. Section 1. The seed of confusion. Let's look at exactly how this starts. You see, when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, they don't just attack your feelings. It's so much deeper than that. They're actually going after your fundamental trust in yourself. Because think about it, a person who trusts themselves, way harder to manipulate. And they usually don't start by loudly screaming that you're wrong. Nope. It starts with small, little dismissive sentences. Things like, you're overreacting, or I was obviously just joking, or wow, you always make things so dramatic. Slowly, repeatedly, these phrases start to train you. Every single time you try to bring up your pain, the conversation gets flipped. Suddenly, you aren't discussing their hurtful behavior anymore. Somehow, you're defending your tone of voice. You're basically only allowed to be hurt if you can prove to a judge and jury that your hurt is reasonable. Moving on to Section 2, the courtroom in your mind. This is where your own reality gets put on trial. You know, after enough of these flipped conversations, a really scary thing happens. Their voice literally moves in and starts living inside your head. You actually begin doubting your feelings before anyone else even questions them. And notice the devastating shift that happens here. Instead of asking the totally normal, healthy question, wait, was that behavior okay? The damage forces you to ask, was my reaction too much? You completely stop investigating their toxic actions and you start investigating yourself as the problem. Your entire inner world becomes this exhausting courtroom where you're replaying conversations on an endless loop, analyzing every single word, just wondering if you caused the whole thing. And that leads us to a really crucial definition, gaslighting. We throw this term around a lot online, right? But gaslighting is far more than just lying or twisting a story. It is quite literally the process of training your nervous system to distrust itself. The whole goal is to make you silence yourself, minimize your own pain, and just accept explanations that make absolutely zero sense, all just to restore the peace. Because once you start doubting yourself, they don't have to work nearly as hard. You're essentially doing their work for them. This naturally brings us to Section 3, the illusion of relief, and the incredibly addictive cycle that keeps us stuck. People on the outside always look in and ask, well, why did you stay? But they don't get it. They don't see this invisible cage of confusion. You didn't stay out of weakness. You stayed because your reality was slowly being rewritten, day by day. Here's exactly how that toxic loop works. Step 1, they hurt you. Step 2, you naturally react to being hurt. Step 3, they blame your reaction, making you feel horribly guilty while they suddenly become cold and distant. And then, Step 4, after leaving you in this state of high anxiety, they finally offer just a tiny crumb of warmth, and you feel relief. Over time, your poor brain is literally conditioned to associate love with anxiety. You start living for those tiny fleeting moments of relief, completely forgetting the immense pain that happened just seconds before. I really want you to let this realization sink in. This is not love. What we're looking at here is conditioning. The relationship feels addictive, not because your connection is so deep and magical, but because your nervous system is reacting to this intense cycle. It is constantly on edge, waiting for that tiny reward of relief. And tragically, this type of conditioning actually makes pain feel frighteningly familiar. But there's absolutely a way out. Section 4, trusting your body's truth. Listen, healthy people, healthy love, it does not require you to abandon your own reality just to keep the relationship afloat. If someone makes you feel crazy for being hurt, your sensitivity is not the flaw here. Your sensitivity is actually a highly accurate detection tool. Think about it. You might experience a weird tightness in your chest or sudden stomach pain right before you even see their name pop up on your phone, or just utter bone-deep exhaustion after every single conversation. Those aren't random. Your nervous system keeps highly accurate records. Even when your logical mind is doing mental gymnastics trying to excuse the abuse, your body often knows the absolute truth way before your mind is ready to accept it. So you end up trapped in this profound internal tug of war.
Your body is practically screaming, "Hey, this is not safe." But your mind, it's bargaining, whispering, "But maybe they love me." Healing truly, genuinely begins the moment you stop treating your body like it's overreacting. Because guess what? It's probably not overreacting at all. It is simply remembering. It's remembering the blatant disrespect, the twisted words, and those agonizing silent treatments.
Which brings us to our final phase, Section 5. Becoming ungaslightable and taking your power back. Here's the hard truth. Real closure in these situations rarely looks like a tearful, dramatic apology from them. Closure is not getting them to finally admit what they did. Closure is admitting to yourself what you survived. Please hear this clearly. You do not need their agreement to trust your own experience. You do not need a perfect, neat explanation, and you certainly do not need the abuser's permission to protect your peace and walk away. That little part of you that keeps saying, "This is not okay," it's not broken. It's the part of you that is desperately trying to save you. To really break free, there has to be a massive shift in perspective. Instead of asking that incredibly exhausting question, "How do I make them understand?" you have to pivot to, "Wait, why do I keep trying to be understood by someone who actually benefits from misunderstanding me?" Finding your own internal clarity is highly dangerous to manipulation, because manipulation relies entirely on keeping you in an emotional fog. And when you finally get clear, that fog lifts for good. So how do we actually rebuild that self-trust? Well, it starts with some small, actionable steps. First, just pause before you instantly dismiss your own feelings. Second, genuinely listen to your body's physical reactions before you try to logically explain them away. And critically, this is huge. Watch the pattern, not just the words. We have to stop measuring the truth by how calmly someone is able to deny it. Some people can sound incredibly logical and calm while systematically making you abandon yourself. Don't listen to the speech. Watch what they actually do over time. I really want to leave you with this thought, and I hope you carry it with you. They trained you to doubt yourself. Healing is simply learning to believe yourself again. That little part of you that whispered something was wrong, even when you tried so hard to ignore it, that part of you was never weak. That part of you was awake. Your mind, your voice, your reality, they belong to you and no one else. Which leaves us with one final, really important question to consider today. Can you trust your pain, even if they completely minimize it? Can you choose to believe yourself, even if they flat out deny it? The very second you stop asking the person who confused you to confirm the truth, you begin taking your power back. If this explainer spoke to something you've been feeling, please subscribe. We'll be diving into more insights on emotional healing, the subconscious mind, and how to finally break these repeating patterns. You absolutely can become ungaslightable. Thank you so much for joining me today.